That's correct. That's correct. I also want to compare you to the last major special counsel investigation. And you agreed special counsel Mueller charged of individuals, and you indicted 3. Is that correct?
Indicted 2, and a third pleaded guilty.
Right. And special counsel Mueller had dozens of convictions, some at trial, but no defendant was outright acquitted.
You certainly could go meet face-to-face and express maybe one final time your concerns and see if there's anything that's shared that might change your mind. But I think just based on what I'm hearing, I think a change is in order.
I agree, and I thank you for reinforcing my feelings. And, you know, I don't like to be hasty, and I've given him opportunity. And I just feel like he's, dropped the ball. He does have 100% control over my portfolio. And I've even thought about maybe going to a flat rate with him because he's getting, 1% or somewhere close to that.
Yeah, which isn't out of the ordinary. I mean, that would be normal and customary, but the lack of communication, given, what he's been charged to do, on top of just these abysmal returns, is just really, I think, a cause for concern that, a change is in order. So if you have another option, that's great. If you don't, we recommend the Certified Kingdom Advisor designation, so perhaps you could reach out to a few CKAs there in Texas. The way to do that is just to go to our website, faithfi.com, faithfi.com, and just click the button at the top of the page that says Find a CKA, and you can do a zip code search, and I'd interview at least 2 or 3 of those folks just to find someone that you have a good rapport with, that you really, have what you believe could be a great, working relationship, has of course the experience and the credibility that you're looking for, but you'll at least know that this person shares your worldview. They've met really high standards in character and competence and experience, and I think you could go forward from there.
One quick question.
Yeah.
Do I meet with the advisors first and see who I'm going to get along with and their philosophy and whatnot? But do I meet with them first before I transfer into their care? Do all the stocks and everything have to be sold and then repurchased?
So let me answer that. Number one, yes, I would meet with them first and make a decision. If you come to the conclusion you find somebody that, yes, you want to do business with, I would establish that relationship first. And then, this is just my recommendation, before your current advisor receives the notification that the assets are being transferred out, I think just given your relationship, just as a courtesy, I would just call that advisor and say, listen, I've just decided to make a change. And that's not going to be an easy conversation. He'll likely try to talk you out of that. I think you just need to be firm in saying, listen, I appreciate what you've done. I don't feel like I was getting the service I wanted. I'm not happy with the results, and I've decided to move on, but I wish you all the best. And that way you've given notice, and then at that point, there would be transfer instructions sent. The assets would transfer over in their current form. And so unless there was some holding that couldn't be held by the new custodian, and that's very unlikely, nothing would be sold. It would come over exactly as it is today, and then you and that advisor could work through the strategy on selling any of those investments that need to be sold and transitioning into this new portfolio, but it doesn't have to be done prior to the transfer.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
All right, Rebecca. God bless you, and thanks for calling today. Let's talk to another Rebecca, actually, in Missouri. Go right ahead.
Yes, I kind of have a similar problem as she did.
Okay, how can I help?
Well, this doesn't make any sense to me, but anyway, I called you about last summer, and I was willing to transfer my investment assets from one firm to more of a politically responsible firm, and so you directed me to, getting a CKA, which I did, and he had a firm in Memphis, and so I went ahead and transferred everything there. Well, now they're saying that they are wanting to give their assets, or I don't let them handle their assets with a different company. It was from, I think it's from Securian to Cetera. But anyway, and I don't know, I looked that up, and it didn't look like they had really very good reviews, so I don't know what that means. But anyway, I don't know what to do now. I don't know whether to keep it there. I just want to make sure it's in a biblically responsible place. And
yes.
So what? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a great question, Rebecca, and I appreciate you following back up. You know, it's not uncommon for an advisor to move from one custodian or what you call broker-dealer to another. They will make those changes periodically when they find that they can get, you know, a better platform for technology and trading and being able to serve their clients well. And so that's not uncommon. And your relationship really is with the advisor. He or she is the one that's serving you and providing the customer service, but also, and most importantly in this case, selecting the investments and building the portfolio. And whether that's at Centurion or Cetera or another one, it really doesn't matter as long as they have access to the investments that meet your goals and objectives without taking unnecessary risk. And in your case, and I love this, also being able to bring investments that align with your values as a believer. And so as long as this advisor does offer faith-based investing, not all CKAs do. And as I had mentioned previously, we're updating the CKA search so you'll actually in the future be able to say, I only want to see CKAs that offer faith-based investments. But as long as, you know, he or she has made clear that yes, they can do a faith-based investing strategy by using either separate account managers that do screening or, you know, world-class mutual funds like Timothy Plan or Eventide or One Ascent or the others, then it really doesn't matter which brokerage firm or broker-dealer or custodian they're with. It's really about your relationship with the advisor and whether that's working for you.
Okay. All right. Well, that answers a lot of questions then.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Has it been going well in terms of the portfolio and the investments? Do you feel like they're meeting your needs?
Yes.
Good.
Yes,
Glad to hear it. And you do believe, you've talked about it, faith-based investing, and that's the types of investments that they've selected for you?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Well, I would imagine.
That's what I was worried about.
Yeah, I mean, if this is a core part of the advisor's offering, then, you know, I can't ever imagine a situation where they'd move to a new custodian or broker-dealer where they couldn't continue to offer these investments. In fact, if they're making a change, it's probably because they have an even greater ability to offer you these types of investments moving forward. So, sounds like you're in great shape here, Rebecca, but I do appreciate you calling back into the program today. It's been a delight to talk to you. May the Lord bless you. Take care. All right, folks. Well, we are about out of time. We're going to wrap it up today. But let me just say how much I appreciate so much you joining us on the broadcast each day, being a part of what we're doing here in Faith and Finance on American Family Radio. Just a couple of quick reminders as we head toward our fiscal year end here, June the 30th. We could sure use your help and support. Faith and Finance is listener supported, which means we do what we do only because of your generous support. So if you've found some value in the broadcast and you enjoy the encouragement and biblical advice, we'd invite you to be a financial supporter of the ministry at faithfi.com. Just click give. And now, until June the 30th, those gifts go a long way to helping us close our gap between now and year end. About $40,000 we're looking to close that gap on over the next 9 days. And so a gift of any amount would certainly be appreciated. Just head to faithfi.com. That's faithfi.com. Just click give. By the way, while you're there, check out the FaithFi app. More than 50,000 Christians engaging there to share ideas, learn, grow, jump into our FaithFi community, and even set up their spending plans. You can learn more. It's all at faithfi.com. Hey, let me say thanks to my team today, Adam Suddeth, Pat Montague, and Jim Henry. Couldn't do it without him. Glad to have you along with us today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And come back and join us tomorrow. We'll be here to do it all over again. May God bless you. Bye-bye.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
90.5 KTXG Greenville, Dallas.
Hamilton III.
If you really want to see the tides turning in our country, can I challenge you and encourage you? If the Lord could grab a hold of us in our family, you would see the tide in our politics turn.
The Hamilton Corner, weekday afternoons at 5 Central on American Family Radio.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, almost acute. A private submersible that went missing during a dive to the Titanic wreckage in the North Atlantic has a dwindling air supply, but search teams are still looking. Fred Hagen has explored the Titanic wreck site with one of the missing passengers on the submersible, which is owned by Ocean Gate Expeditions.
As long as there is the chance of them surviving and coming back to us alive, we have to focus only on rescue. We were all told, intimately informed, that this was a dangerous mission that could result in death or injury. So that was well understood.
Underwater noises were detected by a Canadian aircraft, prompting the U.S. Coast Guard to relocate search efforts. In an interview with Fox's Brett Baer, former President Donald Trump says Joe Biden destroyed U.S. energy independence.
We were soon going to be dominant. We would have been the most dominant in the world. We would have been supplying China. We would have been supplying everywhere. 500 years right under our feet.
South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem says the American people are not on board with high gas prices, which Joe Biden created in his war on fossil fuels.
We need a new president. We need a new president in the White House that makes very different decisions. And President Trump is exactly right. He did shut down ANWR right away. He also killed the Keystone Pipeline on day one in office. That was going to come through South Dakota and help us through the middle of the country get the resources that we need to run our industries. And the fact of the matter is that we're stronger when we're energy independent, when we produce our own food in this country. And Joe Biden has made both of those much more vulnerable.
Some Republicans argue that former President Donald Trump and conservatives are being unfairly targeted by the Justice Department. Ohio Republican Congressman Jim Jordan.
It's not just about the president. They're going after President Trump. It's going after parents at school board meetings. If you're a pro-life Catholic, you're an extremist. If you're a journalist, for goodness sake.
The mainstream media is starting in on Ron DeSantis' wife, Casey, just like they did with Melania Trump. Steve Jordahl reports Casey is being criticized for being a normal wife.
The Washington Post article talks about Casey DeSantis' quote, insular marriage. She's portrayed as the power behind the throne, at once almost invisible, but yet intimidating. She anticipates his needs, smooths his way, confides and counsels him. Ron and Casey are two peas in a pod, and no one gets close to them, much less in between them. Bill D'Agostino of Media Research Center says a liberal paper like the Washington Post is not sure what to do with a normal marriage.
You see kind of this drive to undermine everything that is traditional or that we would consider just normal American life from, say, 20, 30 years ago.
He says Ron and Casey DeSantis are just too traditional for the Post.
They want to undermine, of course, the family unit, stable marriages. They like this open relationship stuff. They're, of course, into the whole alternative lifestyle.
The criticism of Republican First Ladies was perfected with Melania Trump, of course. Anyone with that last name was anathema, so the nation's only actual supermodel First Lady got exactly 0 fashion magazine covers. D'Agostino says it's not hard to imagine how the article would read if DeSantis were from the other side of the political aisle.
If she were the exact same person, but the wife of a rising star Democratic politician, this would be a glowing piece. It would be about how accomplished she was, how poised she is, how impressive she is, her impeccable style, how brave she is for having survived cancer.
I'm Steve Jordahl.
Tropical storm Brett is approaching the Caribbean Sea, where a number of islands are now anticipating harsh winds and heavy rains. Evan Brown reports from Broward County, Florida.
Tropical storm watches are posted in places like Barbados and Martinique, among others, in advance of Brett, which is likely to impact the Lesser Antilles tomorrow. 6 inches of rain or more could fall. Brett's winds are stronger, too, at 60 miles an hour. The newer forecast tracks keep Brett well south of Hispaniola and Cuba, meaning continental U.S. impacts are unlikely. Behind Brett still is another low-pressure system that is highly likely to develop into a cyclone in the coming days. In Broward County, Florida, Evan Brown, Fox News.
More news online at afn.net and the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty Pete.
Too busy to catch your favorite shows on the radio? Have no fear, because the AFR app is here. Download the app to have access to live broadcast, music streaming, as well as each podcast. Whether you're at work, at home, or on the go, it's easy to listen to AFR. The AFR app is available not only for Apple and Android users, but also on Amazon Alexa and Roku. Download the AFR app today at afr.net. Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildman, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Thanks for listening to AFR on this Wednesday, June the 21st, 2023. Joining me in studios, Ed Battagliano. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Tim. Is this not the first day of summer? Technically?
Is it? You technically. You mean
technically?
The calendar.
Yes, on the calendar.
I don't know. Look it up.
I'm gonna look that up.
Good morning, Chris Woodward.
Good morning.
Chris, do you know the answer to that question?
Today is the summer solstice. However, the meteorological summer began a few weeks ago. Meteorologists go by a different calendar than us laymen.
What's up with that? I'm just looking. Today is the official first day of summer.
I tell you how most Americans break that down.
Yeah. I think I know what you're going to say.
June, July, and August is summer.
Yeah, that's right.
September, October, November is fall.
And when it starts getting hot, it's summer.
Yeah, pretty much. At least where we live.
Here in Mississippi, fall is our greatest 2 weeks of weather, somewhere between Christmas and Valentine's Day.
Actually, where we live, it's hotter in September than May. September can be.
When you go to a Friday night football game here,
you're sweating like a
you lose weight at a football game here in Mississippi.
I've always said, as far as high school and even college athletics goes, for football and baseball, they start football during baseball weather, and they start baseball during football weather. It's a paradox.
It is. It's paradoxical.
It needs to be a part of the presidential campaign, honestly. Somebody's to deal with that issue.
First debate question.
Yes.
We'll get to all the issues here.
Come on, politician. Make another promise you're not going to keep.
I would like for them to increase the speed limit on the Natchez Trace, though. That's if I had a bucket list. Bring it up to 55, man.
That's not going to happen because that is a cash cow.
You're talking about the Natchez Trace Parkway, which is a federal parkway that runs through our area. And the speed limit's 50 miles an hour.
Crime against humanity.
Which you obey.
Yes,
on a regular basis. You obey if you get pulled over once. And they hit you with a $500 fine or whatever it is.
Yeah, and they are not
federal parkways.
Yeah, 7-8 miles over, that's fine. No, they're not that way.
Federal parkways are. You don't want to get a ticket on a federal parkway.
Although I do want to say, for all you park rangers who might be listening,
we love you very much.
Yes.
All right. So today, when is the longest day of the year?
じゃあこの辺で車磨いてるから、はい、出てくるとき見てくれたら、いつものとこで。
Yes, and for the day being longer when you have the most sunshine. So basically, from here on out, it's all downhill too.
And then we flip.
Yeah,
we go down to where it gets dark at 5 o'clock.
I hate that time.
It's the most depressing time of year.
November. I mean, the end of November. All right. Anything we need to, Ed, you want to comment on how folks can watch the show?
Yeah, listen, Tim and I both are going bright. Okay, Chris is that's regular. That's a regular striped shirt. Tim and I went for the bright, blinding shirts. And if you want to see that, you can. You can go.
Who wouldn't want to?
And who wouldn't want to? You can go to Facebook and search for Today's Issues and click through, and you can watch us you can watch the live video stream for this show, or
Go to our own streaming platform, streaming.afa.net, streaming.afa.net, and you can watch us from
Ed's donning an Eddie Bauer.
Yes.
And Christopher's got a polo shirt.
Little man on a horse.
Little man on a horse, which is a status symbol, actually, Chris. I don't know that.
This was a hand-me-up from a cousin that had a growth spurt, and he outgrew this, so he gave me shirts. Thanks, Aunt Sheila.
Polo used to be quite the status.
Is that right?
And I'm just going to remark that I use Polo cologne.
I'm rocking a Magellan from Academy Sports.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's Peachy Keen.
You got the Columbia, and then if you don't want to pay Columbia prices, you go Magellan.
Go Magellan.
I have
Magellan. All right. All right. On a more serious note, the folks out there in the what do you call submersible?
Mm-hmm. Submersible.
The 5 Americans, right? The Americans. They. Well, what's the situation, Chris?
Well, Fox just ran a little blurb on this a moment ago. They're scheduled to run out of oxygen tomorrow. So time is of the essence to locate this submersible and help get it to surface so we can rescue these individuals. There is hope.
These are the guys, I think it's all men, who were on this submersible, which is a mini submarine. I mean, really mini.
Yeah.
And they went down to view the Titanic, right?
Right.
That was their purpose. And then what happened was they broke the communication connection between them and the mothership was lost. And that's been a couple days ago now?
Yeah, it's been.
And so now the rush is to try to find where this submersible is, and then I don't know what, I guess they have a way to get them back to the surface if they can find them in time?
Yes, various countries are assisting here. The U.S. Navy is participating. Canadian aircraft actually detected what they've described as underwater noises from the search area.
This was about 12 or 15 hours ago.
France is involved. So there is hope, and people that know the folks inside the submersible are optimistic that they will find their friends and family members. I say that because I have some audio somewhere here in my pile of stories. I've got some audio here from a lady by the name of Janik Mickelson. She's a friend of one of the missing submersible passengers, and she talked about all this on Fox and Friends Today, clip 10.
It gives me hope. It means it's life. If it is every 30 minutes, that means they're alive. But now all these what-if questions come into play. What if they're alive? What if they can't get rescued? What if they run out of oxygen? Is it them? Is it not them? It's terrifying.
I also was reading where, these guys are 12,500 feet below sea level. Think about that. What's a mile?
5,280 feet.
Okay, so over 2 miles and they say that you're sending these I don't know what you call them, observer cameras, so forth, down to the bottom, that they can only see with a light. Like, it's so dark they can only see like 20 feet ahead of them. So it's I don't know if it's exactly like looking for a hen in a haystack, but it's daunting, the challenge that they have to find these guys in time, and then you have to execute the rescue, which I don't know how that happens. Anyway, it's a dire situation, and these people were really on a, what would you call it?
Adventure.
And they knew the dangers because they warned them ahead of time. I can't imagine. I don't have claustrophobia. I know. I've known a couple of people in my life who have. They won't even get on an elevator.
Oh, I see.
And they won't get on an elevator. This person, and they wouldn't.
So it's a real clinical diagnosis.
Yes, and and even on an airplane, they didn't like being in a tube.
Yeah.
Those who don't have it, you can make jokes about it, but for those people, it's a serious matter. And so I just can't imagine. I don't have claustrophobia, is what I'm saying, but I can't imagine being on something so small, going down so deep in the ocean. Just the idea is terrifying to me.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm not clinically claustrophobic. But I'm, like you're saying, I don't like being in small, tightly confined. I don't like being on a plane either in terms of...
Like you're 2 feet from me, and I see you look over here once in a while going, am I too close?
No, I mean, I don't... Nobody really likes being constricted. So when I'm talking about I don't like flying, I'm talking about being crammed in where you can't stretch your legs out and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
After hours of being in that situation, like these folks, no, that would be... And then one of the men on there is a Pakistani businessman, Shahzada Dawood. His son is there with him. You just start thinking, maybe I die, and that's, I took that risk, but I wouldn't want to be there when my son died.
It's also, to me, kind of like, have we not already seen the Titanic 1,000 times on TV with cameras that have gone down to the bottom?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's the mystery? But anyway, I guess some people have an extraordinary sense of adventure and are willing to risk their lives to experience it. But
I'm on the opposite. I'm on the opposite end of that spectrum.
You're Captain Safety.
My kids call me Captain Safety.
That's what you told me. Your kids call you Captain Safety.
That's right.
I went to a Titanic exhibit years ago, back in the 90s, at what was then called the Memphis Pyramid. It's now a Bass Pro Shop, of all places. But it had a Titanic exhibit there years ago. This was a little bit before the DiCaprio film came out or whatever. So whether you've seen it on camera, as you've mentioned here with documentaries and whatnot, some people have seen actual relics, if that's the term to use here, that they've been able to save. So many people are familiar with the Titanic, having never actually gone down to the great depth.